what we're gonna do is get a basic rundown on these components that are inside this van, so that way you can kind of have an idea of what you need to do to build one of these. Now, we'll include a part list so you can build one of these things at home if you'd like. And again, we do offer this kit as a completely assembled, ready to go kit, and you just hook it up yourself. So super easy, depending on your skill level. We're here to help, but we're also gonna tell you that this isn't too crazy. It's just, you know, wire your stuff with appropriate gauged wires and fuse. You gotta fuse everything as well. So we're gonna walk through from battery on up and explain each one of these components. So like we've talked about with the MPPT controller, it's maximum power point tracking. There are different solar controllers out there, but if you want the most efficient thing possible, you're gonna wanna get an MPPT. The other ones, they are cheaper, and they're cheaper for a reason. They don't work as well. So if you want to squeeze as much efficiency out of your solar as possible, use an MPPT solar controller. For this system, a lot of questions that we get is like, what sized wire do we use? And if you want to play it safe, always use a gauge bigger than you think you need to use. For the most part, if we're connecting batteries together, we use 2 gauge wire. It might not be necessary, but who knows? Maybe you want to build onto this system later. Like the most power that you're going to be able to draw out is going to come out of your batteries and maybe go to your inverter. So depending on the inverter size, we'll use 2 gauge running to the inverter, possibly 4 gauge if you have a smaller inverter. But like I said, when in doubt, just bump it up. The thing is, when you use a smaller wire and you start pushing a lot of power through it and it's not properly fused, it can catch on fire. Like the wire will get so hot that it will melt and catch on fire. So this is why appropriately gauged wire is crucial. So when we're connecting our batteries together, we use 2 gauge. When we're running from the batteries to the inverter, we use 2 gauge. From the Orion down here, we'll use 4 gauge. So, and then for your MPPT controller, we're using 6 gauge, or looks like even 8 gauge. So what we'll do is we'll include a chart that's gonna kind of walk you through this kind of stuff. We'll have an amperage chart attached to this stuff as well, because I know it's confusing and I know it's complicated, but the thing is understanding your devices, how much power are those devices drawing, and you know that's how you appropriately gauge what goes into where. So just to make things easy and to use less stuff, say we gauge our refrigerator with 12 gauge wire. Do we need wire that thick? Probably not. We get a big old spool of that stuff and we use it for the refrigerator, we use it for the heater. So it's bigger gauged wire, so you have more than enough wire for electricity to pass through, and the gauge is thick enough for the device to be able to take all the power it needs without feeling like it's being suffocated, if you will. What we're gonna show you is some of the components through this system, how to crimp and heat shrink your wires appropriately, and basically how to run some of these wires so that way you have a nice, clean, easy to work on system if you ever need to go back or add something to it, anything like that.